Hello and welcome. In this video, we will learn about pseudo elements. Okay. Now we have already learned about pseudo classes, correct? So this lesson will be about pseudo elements. So let me go to my website here. Let me open up the web page. Okay. So this is what I have. All right. So let me minimize this. Let me open this in notepad. All right, yeah, and let me open the style sheet in notepad. Okay, now what is a pseudo element? Pseudo element is something that is used to style specific parts of an element. Okay, they are used to style specific parts of an element. So let me give you an example. All right, so let me go to the style sheet, and at the end of the style sheet I'll write codes. Now what I want is, I want the first letter. Okay, I want the first letter of the paragraph to be different from rest. Okay, let us say I want the first letter of the paragraphs. I have one paragraph here. This is also a paragraph. This is also a paragraph. This is also a paragraph. This is a paragraph, and so on. So I have many paragraphs in my website, and I want the first letter of my paragraph to be brown color, and it has to be bigger when compared with rest. Okay. Now this can be done using pseudo element. So let me do that. So I'll go here and I'll say P. Okay, because I want to change a property of a paragraph. So P is the selector here, and then 2 colons. Okay, so 1 colon is for pseudo class. Correct? If you still remember, 1 colon is for pseudo class, 2 colons are for pseudo element. All right, so pseudo element, and I'll say first letter. Okay, first letter. Now this is used to change the property of first letter, all right, of anything. So let me say color. Okay, I'll say brown. Okay, I'll say brown, and let me say font size 200%. Okay, 200%. Let me close this. So what I'm saying is, the first letter of paragraphs must be brown color and the font size must be 200%. So let me save this and let me refresh it, and you can see the first letter of all the paragraphs here, and here. So wherever we have used p tags, everywhere the color became brown and the size was increased to 200%. Okay, size was increased to 200%. Now this is done by pseudo element. Okay, pseudo element. You are styling specific part of an element. Here in this case of a paragraph. Okay, of a paragraph, and we do that using 2 colons. All right, 2 colons. Next, you can also say first line. All right, first line. If you want to style the first line of a paragraph, then you can use first line pseudo element. So let me remove this. This won't look nice. So let me have only color brown. Okay. So let me save and let me refresh, and you can see all the first lines of a paragraph. All the first lines of a paragraph. First line in this paragraph, first line in this paragraph, first line in this paragraph. Everywhere it is brown color. Okay. So first line styles the entire line. First letter styles the first letter. Okay. Now you can club both, right? So you can say P first letter. Okay, now you can change like this, first letter, and here you can say let me say font size 200%. All right, 200%. Now in this you are styling the entire line, and using this you are styling the first letter. Okay, so you can combine the pseudo elements like this. So let me save it and let me refresh it, and you can see the first line is brown color and the first letter has increased font size. Okay, increased font size. This is how you can use pseudo elements to style specific part of an element. All right, next let me delete this. All right, let me delete, save, refresh to get back to normal. Now when you wrote codes for pseudo element, you notice that all the paragraph elements changed. Correct? All the paragraph elements changed. But what I want is to style only this, and this. Okay, I just want to style this, and this, and not all the paragraphs. So how to do it? For that we use something called as sibling selector. The sibling selector selects the next item. All right, so let me write codes and explain it to you. Okay, so I'll go here and I'll say img, okay, image, and plus and p. All right, and I'll say color red and font size 200%. Right, font size 200%. So let me save it, and here I will mention first letter. Okay, first letter. Now see, the code that I have written is this. Here is the image, here is an image, here is an image, here is an image, here is an image. Okay, so soon after this image we have paragraph. Correct? Soon after this image we have paragraph. Soon after this image we have paragraph. Soon after this image we have paragraph. Correct? So what we are basically saying here is select the paragraph that comes soon after an image. Okay, select the paragraph that comes soon after an image. That is what we are saying using img plus p. Now plus is the sibling selector. Okay, sibling element selector. Now what this does is it selects the adjacent element of this, or in other words, this selects the element that comes after an image. Okay, after an image. So what comes after an image? Paragraph. All right, paragraph. So we want to select the paragraph that comes after an image, and we want to style the first letter of it. Okay, let me save it and let me refresh it. So you can see here it is not changed, here it is not changed. Here it has been changed because it comes after an image. Okay, after an image. So here I'll come to this. So here after this image we have T, here after this image we have T. Okay, because this paragraph comes after this image. All right, so this is the sibling selector. All right, now if you see here we have an image here, but then this is not styled. Why is that? So let us look at the HTML code now. Okay, HTML code for what is this? Cinnamon. Okay, let us look at the image code of cinnamon. So here is the image code of cinnamon. Okay, image code of cinnamon. So even though we have an image, the image is wrapped in anchor tag. Okay, so you can see we have anchor tags surrounding image tag, and that is why this is not being selected. All right, now the sibling of this, the sibling of image is anchor. Okay, the sibling of the image is anchor and not paragraph. Paragraph is sibling of A. Okay, paragraph is sibling of A, or in other words, paragraph comes after A. Okay, paragraph comes after A. So what we need to do is, let me copy this and paste it once again. Here I need to mention A. Okay, so the paragraph that comes after an anchor tag should be styled. That is what we are saying. So let me save it and let me refresh it to get this in red color and increased font size. So this sibling selector selects a paragraph which comes right after anchor tag. Alright, right after anchor tag. Alright, so this is how sibling selector works. Alright, next let me delete this, or let it be there. Do not get confused by this, so let it be there here. Next, what we have is before pseudo element. Okay, so do not forget to add 2 colons before pseudo element. Now what this does is it adds an element before another element. Alright, so here what I mentioned is h2 before. Okay, h2 before. So what I want to do is I want to add something before h2 elements. Okay, so h2 elements. So I have 4 h2 elements here. And before these h2 elements I want to add something. I want to add some content, and that is why I have written h2 and 2 colons and before. Okay, so what do I want to add? For adding something you need to use content. Okay, content. For adding something you need to use content, and I want to add this. Okay, I want to add these 2 characters before h2 element. So you may be getting confused right now, but please stay with me. I'll explain this in detail. All right, so I'll say color. Okay, I'll say color, and let me say blue. All right, blue. So let me save it and let me refresh this. So you can see before an h2 element, we have added this content. In CSS. Okay, we have not done this using HTML. We have done this using CSS, or in other words, we have added content using CSS. And to add content before an element we use before pseudo element. Okay, before pseudo element. Now what if I want to add the symbol after h2 element? Then you need to use after pseudo element. Okay, after pseudo element, and let me say content, and I want to add these 2 symbols. All right, these 2 symbols, and let the color be blue. Okay, so let me save it and let me refresh it. So you can see the after pseudo element adds this content after h2. So you can see after h2 we have the characters. All right, so what if I had wanted before this? Then you just need to say before h1 I want this, before h or after h1 I want this. So let me save it and let me refresh it and you can see the h1 has this and this before and after, right? So I edited this, so it went from here, came here, all right? So using before and after, you can add the content, extra content using CSS, all right? So let me switch back to h2, all right, h2. So refresh and done. Now let me take one more case. I want to add these two symbols only for fenugreek and turmeric, or only for fenugreek, turmeric and almond milk. I do not want to add it to cinnamon and ginseng, alright? Then you can add it only to the class. So if we go to the HTML here, if we go to HTML, so where is ginseng? Ginseng is here. So ginseng h2, it doesn't have any class here. We have not added any class for h2 element. Then cinnamon, it doesn't have any class. Next is fenugreek, it has a class ALM. Okay, we had ALM, and then we have same ALM for turmeric and same ALM for almond milk. All right. Now we can add the style to we can add the style to class. All right. So all you need to do is say h2.alm. Okay, h2.alm. Add the style, add the content before h2 element belonging to almond class. All right, and same after alm. Okay, so this is class, this is selector, and this is pseudo element. All right, so let me save it and let me refresh it. So it goes away from these two, but it stays intact for these three, or it comes for these three. Okay, so you can combine class here, you can combine class with pseudo element. All right, so this is how we use pseudo elements to style specific parts of an element. Okay, now go ahead and practice the things that we have learned in this class, and next class will be the conclusion. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.